Aloha, Richard Halverson here, and this is ITS148. And today I'm going to get you started with the first programming assignment. So you should have had some time to work on it, to look at it, and it's coming up due pretty soon here. And so let me share my screen. And so here is our syllabus, and I'm talking about. Today I'm gonna do this one here, this 10.1. It's the first one, and it's due Sunday. And so we're using this this graphical user interface programming tool called tkinter. Let me pull up our textbook here, chapter 10, and let's just okay. First of all, let's look at the assignment. So I'm going to click on programming exercises. And this is the assignment here, this first one, 10.1. And what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to make this graphical user interface thing here, and it's got a ball on it. And when we click the left button, the ball goes over to the left, and click the right, it goes to the right, up and down. And that's all it is. So I'm gonna so I can refer to this. I'm gonna take a little screenshot of this, and I'm gonna set this aside. All right, so write a program that moves a ball in a panel. You should define a panel class for displaying the ball and provide the methods for moving the ball left, right, up, and down, as shown in figure 10.1.6. That's this one right here. Check the boundaries to prevent the ball from moving out of sight completely. Okay, so I'm going to get you started here, and I think what I'm going to do is I will write the last chapter was chapter 9, so that's all about classes and everything, and that really talks about this class for displaying the ball. I'm going to write the program, and I'm not going to write it as a class. I'm going to write it not as a class, and then and I'm also going to put in a couple of checks here. You have to make sure that the boundaries are checked. So in other words, the ball can't go past the top or the left or the right, or the bottom or to right of the canvas. And so you have to check that. So the ball never moves out of sight. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to put this over here. And I would like to, let's go back to the textbook. And I'm just going to point out some key sections in here that we're going to use to write this program. So we are in chapter 10. Let's kind of start out at the beginning here with the introduction. Pronounced tkinter. TK interface. All right, that's great. All right, so here's an example of a simple GUI. I'm just going to click on answer here, and so just to see what it is. And so here is this. This is code that produces this thing here. Okay, this interface here. And first we in our code, first we have to say that we're going to use the tkinter import, and then we use it to create a window. So once we do this, once we execute this line, it creates a window, and so it creates this thing here, and it's called window. Okay, now we could call it anything, but we're going to call it window. It's an appropriate name because we reference window here, we reference window here, here, and down here. See, so if we named it George, we would put George here and George here and George here. So anyway, and then we're going to create a label, and the label is going to say, "Welcome to Python." That's what the label is going to say, and it's going to be a label in the window in the window loop window. And then now that doesn't place it; that just creates it. Okay, this down here places it, and this uses the pack method for placing these things. And since it's pack with no parameter and pack with no parameter, they're just displayed one on top of the other. So this creates a label, this creates a button. This displays the label, and this displays the button. Okay, and so this button is on the window, and it just says click, text that says click me. And of course you can put other parameters in here like a method to execute and so on, but this is just very simple, showing you where all these things come from. And and then this is what creates this window loop. Okay, so once this is all written, then this thing, we execute this, and it just means that this thing is all just executed in a loop, a continuous loop. So in other words, it keeps on monitoring to see if the user's clicking on the button and so on. All right. So let's move on here. The pack. Pack is for displaying it. It's called the pack manager. There's also a grid method which you can use, and there you actually, envision the canvas as a grid, or the window as a grid, and it gives you the row column coordinates. So anyway, so you should watch these video notes. Here's another example of, let's see, what does this one do? This one will create this window and put a button and a button. So it creates the window, it creates a button, creates another button, it puts them on top of each other, and then these buttons also have a command argument, and this command, when this button is clicked, the first one that's loaded here that says OK, when that one's clicked, then this process OK is executed, which is this process, and all this process does is it prints out these words on the console, and then it does the main loop here. And what I'm going to do right now real quick is I'm just going to copy this, and then I'm going to bring up my favorite editor here, and I'm going to paste it into my favorite editor, and then I'm going to save it as a on the desktop here. I'm going to save it as test.py. I've already got one, so I'm going to replace it. And so here's our program, and now I'm going to bring up a command line, and I'm going to cd to the desktop, and I'm going to execute my test.py, and we see that up pops this thing. And so here's our button here, and when I click this OK button, this here is the console. So let's see if it works. There it is. Button clicked. Cancel. 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 OK. 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 All right, that's awesome. So that's how this program works. All right. So so what's next here? Let's see. There's other. I wanted to get to show you the canvas methods. And once we see those, we should know enough to. Okay, so here are the different widgets that you can put on a window. Okay, you can put a button on a window. You can put a canvas on a window. We're going to use the canvas. With the canvas, you can put a ball, and that's what we're going to use for this assignment. So we're going to look at the canvas later. You can do some of these other things. A frame here. We're going to use a frame. A frame simply contains other widgets, and so we want our buttons to go to go across the screen here at the bottom. See, we want the buttons to be across. We want them to be horizontal, but we want this horizontal group of buttons to be in the middle. So we're gonna put the canvas. The canvas is gonna kind of like be here. This is gonna be like the canvas. And then this down here is going to be like a frame. And inside the frame, we're going to put these four buttons. Anyway, so that's how that's going to work. So we're going to use a frame. What else? Anything else? Let's see, we're going to use a label. Maybe some text. No, I guess a label, not some text. Okay. So we're going to use that. And do we need to know anything down here? Here's a big long example of the widgets. Here's a frame example where we create the window, and then we're going to create a frame. We'll call it frame 1 because we're going to have another one down here, frame 2. And so frame 1 is a frame, and it's of the window. It's a frame in the window. And this packs it right away. This puts that bad boy right there at the top. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, it's going to be this thing here. It's going to be this frame with 3 buttons in it. So that's why it puts it right at the top. And then where's the answer? Frame, and then this is for the number. Okay, so then it creates a button, creates another button, creates another button, and then this puts them into the this says they're in frame 1. See, so we're talking about frame 1 now. We're not talking about the window. The frame is in the window, and so these are all going to go inside the frame. And the frame is going to be one row, and it's going to be the first one's going to be column 1, the second one's going to be column 2, and the third one's going to be column 3. Okay, see, that's another way of doing it. Rather than you can use pack. You can put a parameter in pack to make it be horizontal if you want to. It's called the left. It says you say side equals left, but we might as well use this grid thing. That's pretty. Seems like it's more powerful. All right, so next we are looking at the canvas. Okay, this is the canvas. All right, so got a window, and this is how you create a canvas. And this is going to be a canvas inside the window, and it's going to be 200 pixels wide and 100 pixels high. Height, yeah. Right. And it's going to be white, and this is going to pop it right in there right away. And then there's going to be a frame underneath that. And inside the frame, we're going to throw a rectangle. Let's see what this is. This is the command. This is how you display it, okay. Rectangle. Okay, so anyway, this is going to look like, and these are the things to draw them. And so we're just doing this. There's a bunch of buttons down here. It's kind of what we're doing. Put some buttons down here and the canvas up here, and when you click on one, it puts them there. If you want, we can run this. Let's just grab it. Control A, Control C, and I'll go back over into my test thing here, and I'm going to do Control A, delete, and Control V to paste. Notice that's all okay. And let's run this. and this thing over here pops up. And so we can draw a rectangle, or draw an oval, or draw an arc, or draw a polygon, or draw a line, draw a string, clear, string, I'm a string, line, okay, arc. All right, anyway, that's pretty cool, clear. Okay, so so that's how that works. All right, is there anything else I needed to? So we're going to use this oval, create oval, and if we make it like 10 coordinates, xy equals 10 comma 10, these coordinates 20 comma 20, then it'll end up being a circle. And so that's what we're going to use. And I think that's all we're going to do. We're going to use that and some buttons. There's buttons here. We're going to use buttons just like this. Okay, so why don't I start with something like, well, I said I was not going to do the class version, so I'm not going to use the class version. I'm just going to write a program with some methods in it. Okay, so let me, I'm just going to be lazy here, and I'm just going to get rid of everything here. Yeah, get rid of it all. Start over, start from here, okay? So first I got to import tkinter, and then I'm going to create a window equals tk, and then I'm just going to create a window. I should put comments in there just to a window, and then I'm going to give the window a title. There's a title method here. It's going to be moving the ball. Oh, that's pretty awesome. Okay, and it's okay. And then I'm going to create a canvas. Let's create a canvas, and I'm going to name it canvas. Nice name for a canvas. And so I'm going to use this canvas creator method here, and it's going to go inside a window, and it's going to make the background color be white, and let's make the width be 200 and equals 200, and let's make the height equal 100. And then let's just pop that baby right on to the window. There, that's going to put it right in there on top. And then let's make a frame. And I'm going to make, it's just going to be a frame, just do frame. And that's going to be the next thing that's in window. And I'm going to pack that on there. Equals, I do frame.pack. There we go. So the first thing is going to be the canvas, and the next thing is going to be this frame. And then I got to put some buttons inside the frame. So I'm going to have a left button, and I think I'll name it just like this, Let me grab this, copy, boom. Okay. And I'm going to say it's a BT left button, and it's going to go into the frame, and let's make the thing say left, and the command is going to be move left or something. Yeah, move left. Okay. And so that's going to be the, oh, I don't need the double, okay, I just do that. That's going to be the command. Now I got to put the command someplace, and I'm going to put, I think I'm going to put the defs up here. The methods. This is the move left method. Okay, so I'm going to put define move left, and it's going to be, oh, I got to create the balls first. Got to create the oval. Create the oval first. Canvas dot create oval, and I'm going to make it the X and Y, it's going to be starting at 10, 10, and then it's going to be 20, 20. And we'll see how that looks. And I'm going to fill that thing with redness, and I have to name this thing that it's going to be. And the way you do that is you use this tags attribute, and I'm going to call it a ball. Okay, and now up here, this move left method that I started writing, but I didn't have a name for it yet, for what I wanted to move left. And so now I can just use this canvas dot move parentheses, and we're going to move the ball here. That corresponds to this, and we're going to move it, and here you say the difference, XY difference. And so I'm going to move it to the left -5, and the Y-axis is going to stay 0. Okay, so what this is let's see if this works. Can I do this? Okay, so if the ball's here, like a circle. Put a ball here. Oh, there we go. And so going 5 places in this direction is -5, and this is going to be 5, 0. This is going to be +5, 0. This is going to be 0 -5, and this direction is going to be 0 +5. Okay. All right. Can I put this down now? Okay. All right. So move left is going to be that, and this left button is going to move left. Let's put the right. Let's do the move right in there. Right. And so this is going to be +5, he thinks. And let's do a BT right. Oops, what did I just do? I see. This is going to be left move, call, move, button, move, ball, left. This is going to be move ball right. And this is going to be BT right. And it's a button in frame. It's going to say right on it. And it's going to be move right. And I'm gonna just see what this does. Okay, I'm gonna do this window main loop, and that creates the loop thing. And I'm gonna, I'm just gonna run this and see what. I'm gonna save this and run it. Oh, white is not defined. Well, let me just quote that then, because this is really what I meant. Probably save, run. Red. It doesn't like red either. Well, let's just do that then. Oh, and this pops up, but there's no buttons. Well, there's no buttons. That's an issue. A little bit of an issue. I didn't. I got to put them buttons on there. That's right. I'm going to use this grid thing. Grid. what is it? Row equals row equals 1, column equals 1. And this is going to be the same thing except for it's grid row equals 2, column, or no, row equals 1, column equals 2. Okay, let's see what this does. Now that should pop it on there. And oh, this thing pops up. Got a couple buttons here. And so we right, ah, look at that. It's moving right and it's moving left. But well, it's gone. All right, I gotta fix that. One, two, three, four, five. All right, so I gotta fix that. So let's put those limits in there. Okay, how do we put the limits in there? Well, I'm gonna say the starting positions. I'm gonna keep. This is where the ball is positioned at in the beginning. So I'm gonna say. So this is the XY of the upper left-hand corner of the ball, and this is the XY of the lower right-hand corner of the ball. I'm just going to use the upper left-hand corner of the ball, and I'm going to keep track of X and Y. So I'm going to, someplace I'm going to put X equals 10 and Y equals 10. Okay, so I'm going to put here X, Y, and X plus 10, X plus 10, and Y plus 10. Okay, and then right now we have moving X. X is left and right. Move the ball. This move left subtracts. This is X and this is Y. Subtracts 5. So once this is active, we want to subtract 5. Oh no, we better first check to see where it is. We better see where X is first. So if X is greater than or equal to 5, then we can subtract 5 from it. So this moves the ball, and then this X, this subtracts 5 from X because we're keeping track of what X is. Okay, and then this one over here, this is over on the other side. Now, how big is this thing? Its width is 200. Well, I'm just going to hard code that in. I'm going to say if X is less than or equal to 195, then we can add 5 to it. X plus equals 5. Okay, so as long as it's less than or equal to 195, then we can add 5 because we don't want it to go over 200. If it's equal to 195 or greater, then we don't want to do anything. We don't want to touch it. Okay, so that these two things should limit it. Now, there's one other thing that we haven't covered yet. No. Yes, we have. We've covered scoping. We've covered scoping in this class. In 148, you should know scoping, and what that is we're referring to X here, and we really want to refer to this X out here. Okay. Well, if this method creates its own scope. So any variables that we create inside this method are local to the method. When the method is executing, it exists. When the method is done executing, it doesn't exist anymore. So we don't want a local X. Besides, even if we do this, it's not going to work. Look, I'll show you. I'm just going to run this. You can see it. I get an error. And I don't have the error yet. But if I try to execute that method, right, I get an error. And the error is if x is less than or equal to 195, and what the error is local variable x referenced before assignment. What do you mean local variable x is referenced before it's assigned a value? Well, that's because this is a local variable, and here we're trying to test x, and we haven't even defined x. Well, that's because x is defined out here. Well, really, we want to refer to the global x. So what we can do here is we say global x. And here we say global x. And so now let's save this. And now let's run it. I've got to, where is it? Moving the ball. Okay, let's try it again. Oops. Oh, it ran. Here it is. Excuse me. Right. Now it's working. Right. Oh, let's go left. Left. It's limited. It doesn't go any farther. So if we go the right one, it's limited. See, it's a little bit, can't hardly see it there, but okay. So very good. So what you need to do now is we need to do this for y, and we can do create a button up, let's say, and this can say up, and for up we'd be moving up. And we can make that be wherever we want it. Left, right, up can be the third one if we want it. Move the ball up. And here for upping, we're doing, it's Y. Copy paste this. It's move up. And it's Y we're dealing with. And going up is minus, and going down is plus. So going up 0, we don't want to go past minus 0. So what we're doing here is, as long as y is less than or equal to, it's up. So as long as y is greater than or equal to 5, as long as that's the case, then we can subtract 5. In other words, go up. We can go up 5 notches. So this is going to be y is minus equal 5. So that's moving up. And you want to do moving down. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. So you can make moving down. Save. Let's just see what this looks like. Didn't mean to do that. So now we've got this thing here, and we can move right, we can move left, we can move up, and that's all the farther. And now we're stuck. We can't go down because we don't have a down button. We can only go left and right. That's a bummer. All right, so anyway, you can put in the one for down. You put in the one for down, and that takes you a lot of the way. The last thing you got to do is you want to create a class out of it. And you can use a class that looks just like this one right here. So what you do is you put a class in there, and you make the init be the main program. And so you go something like, and then you have to refer to these things as self. You put the self in front of all these things, put the self there, and once you're done, you want to save it as something like, for me, it's Halverson underscore assignment 10.10 -1.py. That's probably enough. And you save that. And then when you go to your La Lima, you go to Dropbox, and if you don't have anything in your Dropbox, it looks like this. And you click Actions, and you go Upload Files, and you can click to find them. And let's see, I'm in the desktop, and I can find Alverson, this one. And then I click Continue, and it ends up being here. And then I'm able to see it. All right, so so you should be able to finish up assignment 10_1, and I will also do 10.2 and 10.9 by Sunday, probably earlier. All right, so I hope that helps, and see you next time. Thanks.